The truth about the WNBA has emerged. They are silencing reporters who dare to question the players accused of bullying Caitlin Clark.
And it seems very clear she bends her fingers into Caitlin's eyes. There it is. She could pull her hand away. She didn't. And Caitlin had a black eye, and it was not called as a foul. And then she was seen celebrating on the sideline and laughing with a teammate.
The most disturbing part is that the WNBA is essentially rewarding players for bullying Clark, injuring a player's eye, and then celebrating it. Anyone with a sound mind can see this as bullying. After this foul, which appears very intentional, USA Today journalist Christine Brennan asked Joy Carrington about the incident. She is now facing backlash from the WNBA Players Union because of this question.
Dejanay? Yeah. Did you, when you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am. So yeah.
I see nothing inappropriate about the question posed by reporter Christine Brennan. She was merely fulfilling her responsibilities as a journalist when she asked if the incident was unintentional and why the player celebrated with her teammates after the foul against Caitlin Clark.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing about it.
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her, so I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened. With the increase.
We all witnessed the foul, and it is clear that it warranted some form of disciplinary action against Dejanay Carrington. Instead of addressing this critical issue, the WNBA has targeted the reporter, urging her employer to revoke her credentials. The WNBA Players Union has criticized unprofessional media members like Christine Brennan, claiming her interview was a deliberate attempt to misrepresent a professional athlete and promote a narrative fueled by racism, homophobia, and misogyny. However, it is unclear how this situation can be viewed as homophobic or misogynistic. It seems to be a fair inquiry following such a severe foul. I was anticipating a notification regarding Carrington's suspension, but instead, I received news that she was named the Most Improved Player of the Year. It seems that one can assault the league's top player 2 or 3 times and still be rewarded as the most improved player. Jason Whitlock promptly called out the WNBA's bias.
What could be more exhausting than the WNBA and this group of entitled, coddled, pampered? How dare someone ask Honey Dejanay a question? Don't you know she's a black queen? You don't question black queens. You pander to them. You worship them. You venerate them. You do not question.
Whitlock continued to criticize the WNBA Players Union's statement demanding punishment for Christine Brennan.
We call on USA Today Network to review its principles of ethical conduct for newsrooms and address what we believe is a violation of several core principles, including seeking and reporting the truth. USA Today Sports should explain why a reporter with clear bias and ulterior motives was assigned to cover the league. We also urge the league to review its policies and take measures to prevent such issues, protecting the integrity of the game and its players.
The statement issued by the WNBA is misguided. The basketball community and fans are seeking action against the offender, not against the individual who exposed the wrongdoing.
It was a cheap shot. It was not a basketball play. She should have been ejected, number one. Number two, there should have been a fine that was incurred thereafter. Number three, not to say that there won't be or hasn't been at this moment in time, I don't know of one. I know the team was fined for media availability purposes because people weren't available to.
It is Carrington who deserves punishment, not the reporter who raised a legitimate question.
This is what you do in journalism. She didn't say, hey, I know you hit Dejanay, I know you hit her in the eye on purpose. Explain to me why you did it. No, she asked, hey, did you do it on purpose? And then she asked a perfectly appropriate follow-up of, hey, were you and Marina Mayberry laughing about it afterward?
This situation is outrageous. While it is one thing to unintentionally injure an opponent, deliberately doing so and then celebrating is troubling and morally questionable. DeJohnai seems to harbor personal issues with Caitlin Clark.
And DeJohnai is one of these people that has a real problem with Caitlin Clark.
It doesn't matter what DeJohnai says. Her actions scream that she is jealous of Caitlin Clark.
But after a series of events where we've watched all season long and into the postseason, Caitlin Clark get abused and taken out. I mean, even during timeouts, people are intentionally walking into her, bumping into her, doing things mid-play and after the play. And if you don't know, Christine Brennan's so woke, I don't know how she ever sleeps. So this isn't exactly somebody
She's
coming
so woke.
from the Daily Wire or Fox News. So the fact that they're attacking her just shows you the WNBA continues to drop the ball on this whole issue. They got given the greatest gift of all time, this rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And you use the word vitalize because you're right.
Regardless of what DeJohnai claims, her actions indicate jealousy towards Caitlin Clark.
And for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
Been good season.
They cannot have fucked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try.
Given the numerous brutal fouls directed at one player, the league itself should be held accountable for allowing this to happen.
And for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
Been good season.
They cannot have fucked this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they tried.
Caitlin Clark is indeed an exceptional player, but the jealousy and animosity directed at her make it challenging to enjoy the WNBA. Additionally, reporters supporting Clark are facing hostility. In contrast, USA Today has demonstrated integrity by supporting its journalist, Christine Brennan. They issued a statement affirming their commitment to unbiased reporting, rejecting claims that the interview perpetuated any false narrative. Christine Brennan is respected as an advocate for women and athletes,
because Adam Silver has gone out of his way to protect his players and also make the game a lot quicker. We've seen in the past 10 years, the NBA style has evolved in a way that I personally think is a much more exciting.
USA Today stands by their reporter, while the WNBA Players Union seeks to undermine her. Meanwhile, the WNBA fails to support Caitlin Clark, their rising star, in the same way the NBA supported legends like Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. If the WNBA aims to grow, they should promote Caitlin instead of attacking her.
This kind of reminds me of Eminem when he got into the rap game, right? You can talk all you want, you can do this, but sooner or later you have to respect somebody's game. And the way Caitlin Clark plays basketball has to be respected. And sooner or later, the dam is going to break. In the WNBA, what matters more, money or your feelings? Because we can look around the league and see the same thing. Luka Doncic dominating the NBA. Say what you want, but they respect him. There's no respect to Caitlin Clark, and it is blowing my mind. And sooner or later, it's going to cost the WNBA everything.
The WNBA is already paying a significant price. Viewership has plummeted since Caitlin Clark's team was eliminated. Without her, interest has waned.
That clicking sound you hear is television's being turned off. Ain't nobody watching this stuff now. Ain't nobody turning the set on and saying, I gotta watch who?
When the WNBA Players Union couldn't disprove Christine Brennan's inquiry, they resorted to claiming her bias due to her upcoming book on Caitlin Clark. They believe this explains her perceived favoritism towards Clark.
I think this is a window, and I'm working on a book on Caitlin Clark and this entire year in women's sports, the revolution in women's sports. Your daughter is a part of it. What we've seen with our daughters and our nieces. This is all going to be part of a book for Scribner that's coming out in conjunction with next year's WNBA season.
Logically, it is evident that Brennan is simply doing her job as a journalist. Here is what she stated on the matter.
And they're even, like, her fingers are going in Caitlin's eye. And I thought, you know what? The best thing I can do as a journalist is to try to give the athlete an opportunity, which I've done tens of thousands of times, to answer the question and tell us what she believes happened.
Any fair-minded individual would act similarly. There is nothing inappropriate about performing one's duties honestly.
For some reason, this has touched a nerve. And I would say the other question I would ask, Jake, is that I would ask that question of a man and have for thousands of times in my career. Ask tough questions of Tiger Woods and Michael Phelps and you name it. Are they saying we cannot ask tough questions, or in this case, not even a tough question, just a fair question of a female athlete?
Brennan genuinely believes her bold attempt to address the pressing questions has struck a nerve with WNBA authorities, who appear unable to handle the truth being articulated. Furthermore, Christine Brennan has been one of the few reporters to support Caitlin Clark when she was overlooked for the Olympic team.
You know, it's just a total swing and a miss by the national governing body, by USA Basketball, just a missed opportunity.
When asked about Caitlin Clark's exclusion from the USA Olympic team, she stated it was a significant oversight by the authorities. While some may argue that Clark lacks experience, age is not the sole factor in determining winners.
I still think Caitlin Clark should have been on the team, and to a lesser degree, Angel Reese. I think she should have been on the team too, but definitely Caitlin Clark.
It is clear that the WNBA was unprepared for the popularity Caitlin Clark brought to the league, and their response has been poorly managed.
Do you know why? Because at the end of the day, it's not just the sport, it's the entertainment of the sport, and you need to protect your superstars. And the WNBA has not done well this entire season of protecting their one superstar who brought in more eyeballs than anyone else has ever done in the league.
The reality is that Caitlin Clark is the most promising player in the WNBA, and her skills and popularity cannot be denied.
Okay, they have the highest audience they've seen in 24 seasons in the WNBA games. Televised games with Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever averaged 1.18 million viewers compared to 394,000 for all other games. There were a record 22 games that averaged over 1 million viewers, 19 of which involved Caitlin. So, I mean, you'd think they'd be saying thank you. They're not saying thank you.
Caitlin Clark deserves commendation for her contributions to the sport. Regardless of the negativity directed at her, she will continue to shine on billboards, secure lucrative endorsements, and have books written about her. Her ascent is inevitable, and it is already in motion.
Since Caitlin Clark has arrived on the scene, record ratings, record revenue, everything that you could think, record attendance, everything. They've never had it before. Knowing that, and knowing what a global platform the Olympics provides, and what that could ultimately do for the WNBA if you had her participating, I think they missed the boat on passing.
She's having impact on her team that nobody else in the league is having on her team. This is a team that went 13-27 last year. And suddenly, the Indiana Fever are the hottest team by far in the league. I've got the fever. I can't help it. I can't stop watching. I can't stop talking about the impact Caitlin Clark is having on game after game after game.
Caitlin Clark is a remarkable talent, a once-in-a-generation player and true prodigy, achieving success without substantial backing from the league. One can only imagine the heights she could reach if the WNBA fully supported her.
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque bounce passing. I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque two-handed, full court, touchdown pass kind of passing, the likes of which I don't see in the WNBA.
She has consistently demonstrated that she is not just better than her competitors, she is the best in the league.
A rising tide raises all boats. If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it. None of it addresses my point. My point is, she's the golden goose. You have been clamoring for attention. You've been clamoring for more cachet, fair and equitable treatment, chartered jets, weight room facilities, dollars, marketing opportunities, etc., etc., etc.
Despite her outstanding performance, It is evident that the WNBA does not genuinely care about the well-being of their staff.
So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue. And that's not just an issue that the players have to work out. That is from top down. That goes to the commissioner level. Like, that is the level that needs to control these kinds of things.
The authorities are mishandling this situation so poorly that player safety is deteriorating.
And the refs should also be aware that the most eyeballs at any given moment are going to be on Caitlin Clark. So call it a special whistle, call it whatever you need it to be. If you don't want to have constant viral videos of other WNBA players fouling Caitlin and the internet being in an uproar, saying that players are doing this on purpose, this is the kind of reputation that the WNBA starts to get.
The lack of strict actions raises concerns about what might occur if the situation escalates. Players appear to feel free to bully Caitlin Clark without consequence.
I know at Iowa it was mostly, if not all, charter flights, but obviously with this road game to Dallas coming up, just how are you anticipating commercial flights this season?
I think it's gonna, cause some problems, maybe because the popularity of our league is continuing to grow and, having to, navigate travel with that. But at the same time, that's a positive thing too. Like, you want people to be excited about our game. So hopefully it changes in the near future. But for now, that's just what it is.
It seems the WNBA has made Caitlin Clark the league's official target for aggression. While many plot her downfall, she continues to work for the benefit of her critics. For instance, when she raised concerns about commercial flights in a press conference, the WNBA soon announced plans for charter flights for players.
After a few away games and all of the sellouts, Caitlin asked the WNBA if they would pay spot bonuses to the away team players. She said, wow, we're making all this new revenue, and I would like the away team to benefit from that. Could they get a spot bonus? So that's the heart of Caitlin Clark. I mean, that's a classy,
Clark pointed out that flying commercially would cause problems for all players, and shortly thereafter, the WNBA initiated chartered flights. Additionally, she advocated for distributing extra revenue to the players of the away teams. Caitlin Clark is not only an extraordinary player, but also an exceptional person who gives back, even to those who criticize her. How can one harbor negativity towards such a remarkable individual?
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all that private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA. Don't be petty like dudes. Listen, what she's accomplished, give her flowers. Stop being petty, all you women out there. She got y'all charters. She bringing all y'all this money to the table, but y'all being petty like dudes. LeBron, you are 100% right. Y'all girls, stop being petty. Caitlin Clark, thank you for bringing all that money and shine to the WNBA.